Action. Hi, Dr. Mall. I'm doing my presentation on voluntary stuttering. And I have Leah, who's a middle school student, and we're going to talk about her stuttering. So how does your stuttering make you feel?
It makes me feel anxious and frustrated because I can't always talk to my friends, and my teacher calls on me in class.
Yeah.
And it makes me start to stutter.
Yeah, that can be really frustrating and anxiety-inducing for sure. So I wanted to talk to you about voluntary stuttering, and it seems counterintuitive, but this is where you actually stutter on your own so that you become the boss. You're in charge of the stutter instead
Me
of
become
it.
the boss?
Yeah.
I want to be the boss.
Instead of the stutter being in charge of you.
All right.
And the reason that we're going to focus on this is it is supposed to reduce anxiety, kind of reduce those fears. So I know you listed a few situations. Can you think of other situations where you feel anxiety about the fact that you might stutter?
During presentations?
Yeah.
Talking to my dad?
You know, that does come up in some stuttering questionnaires.
It does.
It's
an issue.
It's an epidemic. Okay, so the way that you do voluntary stuttering is actually faking it. So, for example, I would say, my name is Kelly. So why don't you try?
Okay. My name is Leah.
Good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to say a few different stutters, and I want you to hold up a finger anytime you hear me throwing in what's called a pseudo stutter. Okay?
Yeah.
I have a dog, good, named Jasper. Good. Why don't you try?
Okay. My dog's name is Maddie.
Good. Okay. So how did that feel?
Feels like how I usually will talk when I'm in a stressful situation or I'm feeling anxious.
Right. So sometimes in those situations there's more tension because you're thinking about it more, and that sort of apprehension towards the stutter itself will cause you to stutter more. So the goal of this therapy is to just kind of beat the stutter to the punch and start doing it so that you have less anxiety about it, because it makes it more apparent, and then you don't have to worry about when is it going to happen.
Is it supposed to make it feel more normal?
Yeah, so this doesn't necessarily fix the stutter. It's not going to magically make it disappear. But all the situations you've talked about, being in school, getting called on, doing presentations, talking to friends, all of that reduces your ability to communicate effectively, right? So this is a way to just kind of throw caution to the wind, if you will. And
I would.
Yeah, thank you. And it's just to help you manage and cope and accept the stutter so that you can learn how to communicate more effectively. Okay? So in order to reduce this fear, the goal is to put you in control. And there are 3 things I want you to do when you're practicing this.
Oh.
There will be a brief hold. That's fine.
You would think they would get this fixed, right? Oh.
Technical difficulties.
I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. All right. And continuing on. Action. So there are 3 things to think about when you're doing voluntary stuttering. And that is, do it on purpose. Do it early in the interaction that you have anxiety about. So especially before a presentation, throw a few in there, because again, it's the fear of stuttering that often exacerbates it. And 3, make it noticeable. And it must contain all of these 3 things. And the reason you do that is so that the other person is aware that you might be stuttering. But because it's not an actual stuttering event, you won't have the same fear and anxiety around it. Okay? And finally, practice out in different environments. Do it at the grocery store, talking to people on the phone, order a pizza.
Oh, I love ordering pizza.
Yeah. So the goal of this therapy is to increase desensitization. So we want to just make it sting less when you actually stutter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the reason I chose this therapy is that I think desensitizing people to these types of situations that give them anxiety can be something really powerful. As we've seen with our guest speakers, a lot of times in the beginning they stutter more because it's nerve-wracking, but then when they hit their flow, they seem to do a lot better. And I think that it's an easy strategy to implement. Somebody might not remember to do it right away, but if they find it effective and they do feel better with doing it, then it's definitely worth doing because it can be practiced at all times. And I think anything that reduces the stress and anxiety around something in order to help somebody communicate is beneficial, even if it doesn't take away their stutter. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.